Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. We're working on, we just got our bats to have a pursue state, right? So they pursue us and they'll track us. And then once they get close enough, they turn red and that'll be the attack state. So right now all we're doing is just turning them red, not actually attacking. And then they go back to the pursue state if we're far enough away. So the goal for today is to try to get their attack working. So I've thought about this, and so the idea is they're going to spit acid at you, but instead of instantiating an acid ball and then updating it over time and then damaging the player if it connects with the very specific hitbox of the player. Instead of doing that, I think I'm going to go a kind of simpler route with we're going to tween the value of a spitball from the bat's mouth to the center of the player if the spitball triggers, essentially. And once after that, we're going to tween it, let's say, over 1 second, and at the end of that 1 second, the player will take damage and get knocked back. So we're not going to do any kind of collision detection with the spitball. It's just that if the bat's in range and it fires, it's going to hit you. That's I think what we're going to do. And then if I don't like that, we can always change it. But for example, let's see what happens if we want to make a little spitball for the bat. So we're gonna do and I think the move is we'll go to our declarations here, and we're gonna go only put one bat. So here's our first bat. So we're only gonna have one bat to worry about, so we can test this a little easier. So we've got one bat, and then let's do a love.graphics. Let's do a circle. And that circle will have a type of fill. And then I believe it's an X and a Y and a radius. So we'll say that it's going to be at the entities.x and the entities.y, the top left of where our entity is. But then we're going to give it a radius. Let's see, does our LSP know what circle takes? No? I think it's an X and Y and a radius. So let's try a radius of like 5. That'll be way too big, but let's just see if that's looking right. So we're gonna render a circle at the origin point of our bat when we're walking. I'm not seeing it. Let's look up what the circle is. Love2d circle. Love.graphics circle. Mode XY radius. Yeah, we nailed it. Mode, which is fill. X and Y radius, and then segments. We don't need that. So let's just try to get a white circle, I think, for now. Oh, and this is in the attack state, so maybe that's why we didn't see it. Let's wait till we're in the attack state and see if we see this circle. Okay, so as soon as the bat's red, we should see the circle. Nice. Okay, so yeah, way too big. Let's try 2. Radius of 2. I still think 2 is going to be too big, because that would be a diameter of 4, which would still be pretty big. Huh. You know what? It's because we're rendering it at 1:1, I think, that it looks so strange. That is weird. It kind of takes different forms. See, that's what I expected it to be. But what the heck, man? Why does it change like that? Let's say it should be consistent, right? It shouldn't be changing size like that. Why does it change shape like that? Wondering if a radius of 1 is more consistent. I don't know why. We are drawing the game at a super low resolution. See, even at radius 1 it screws up. Okay, well let's try 2, and we'll give this bat a timer to trigger the spit, and then we'll essentially basically we need positions for our spitball. So we'll say spitball X and spitball Y. Let's just say it starts at our entities X. We'll figure out what the offset is. And entities Y. So our spitball X and Y starts at the top left of where our entity is. And then we basically want to say something like, if attacking, right? If attacking, then we want to tween our spitball X location over time. So this will be self.entity dot spitball X. And spitball Y. So as we update, we're gonna update our spitball X, and it should be self.entity. Yeah, not here. It should be self.entity spitball X. Because multiple bats can have the same bat attack state, but we want individual spitball values. I think that means we need to go into our entity class and just give, let's see if we can assign it here. Because we don't want to give every entity a spitball position, because not all of them spit acid. So let's just see if we can render the spitball at the spitball's location. And it should be... Let's get rid of this. No, it should be at 0, 0. Because we're not updating the spitball location. Okay, well, we're doing something wrong. Spitball. We get the entity X. Oh, we get the entity X that we initialize the attack state at. So that kind of makes sense, actually. But it's still really weird. It's weird that it doesn't consistently render a circle. That is really strange. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe I'm curious if we make it bigger, if that fixes the issue, or is it still jacked up? See, that looks normal. That looks jacked up, man. What the? That is so jacked up. Is it because Is it because our bat entity doesn't have a pure X value? It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be. So let's... this is tough. I think as soon as we trigger our attack state, I think we need to floor our X position. Now we could print this up because I think if I'm diagnosing this correctly, I think the times that the spitball is all disjointed and not a normal shape is when we're at a pixel imprecise X position for our bat. So in our bat state here, I want to say that we need this, but we'll use this in our bat attack state, and we'll render the X position. We'll just see what the X position is for the bat, and I'm thinking anytime it is a non-whole integer, it looks jacked up. So see there, it looks okay, and it's at a 90.6. Okay, well, I kind of feel like let's just floor. And you know what? Well, we have a fancy way. I say fancy, but in order to, we basically want to round the entity X and Y position to the nearest whole pixel. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that our X position gets, and then the idea is we do a math.floor once we add 0.5 to our X position. So that'll effectively round us to the nearest pixel. And then same thing with Y. So we'll say, let's substitute every X with Y. Okay. So now our spitball X is getting inherited by this new rounded to the nearest whole integer pixel. And then we should have, and let's confirm in the bat walk state. We'll take this. Oh no, the attack state is what we want. Yeah, and we'll render, we want to render what the X is, and we'll do it a little higher, a little lefter, and a little higher. Okay, so we're looking for a whole number X once we turn red. So whatever number here, hopefully it's flat integer. No, it is not. What? We're gonna say, get our entity, and get our entity's X, and update it to whatever. Okay, so if we say that our entity's X is just gonna be 50, does it change to 50? No. Okay. Since we do this in the init, let's walk it through, because we're also then updating. We're going to run this get distance to player, which calculates the distance, but then we process the AI, which, well, yeah, I don't see anything that can move its X position once we're in the attack state. So once we're in the attack state, maybe we have it. Yeah, we should only need to do this in the init here. But it's not working. It's not getting us those flat numbers that we're wanting. So what do? I guess we could just round it right before. We could just round this right before we change to attack state. So whenever we're about to go to attack, we can say let us round to the nearest whole pixel, then change state to attack. Maybe that'll put us at a whole X position. No, we're still getting decimal X positions. Hey Squinch, what's up? Hello, hello. Okay. Yeah, I'm not understanding why we can't round to the nearest pixel for our bat's position, so we should I think we wrote a function to do this, but it's not working. The just doing it manually isn't even working. It was called round to nearest or something. I don't know if we even finalized that. Okay, so before we change to bat attack, can we just manually assign our entity's X position to 0? And does that work? Yeah, it does. Okay. So, why is it that when we take the X position and we want to floor it to the nearest, basically just round it to the nearest pixel, then change to bat attack. Oh, and you know what? I guess we have to round. Do we have to always round downwards? Because if we don't round downwards, then what's happening is the frame that we are within 10 pixels of the player, we will then become just outside of 10 pixels. I don't know. Let's just try to floor it and see if that changes anything. Oh, Jimmy's crawling. Jimmy's crawling. Jimmy's on the prowl. Oh, I think her tail's stuck. Oh my god. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, why does this happen? It's just not floored at all. Let's try to floor it in the attack state and just see if when we process AI, let's just floor our X position. I just want to see a floored X position at this point. Okay. So it works there. I just don't... Now, the attack state is the only one that kind of makes sense to do something like this, which is to round it, because we're not moving in the attack state. We just need our position to be a whole value here, and I'm hoping that'll change the spitball to not be a weird shape. It should be a consistent shape. And we can't see it. I gotta get the Jimmy Cam set up more. Oh, see, that spitball looks so strange. Why does it look like that? Why does it look like that, man? Let's try something different real quick. Let's try... Like, I just want to literally see a circle move around and not be all screwed up. So let's just go to our spitball and we'll just update this with delta time and start it up. Actually, yeah, we'll initialize it up at the top, and then basically in the update we just want to take that spitball X and assign it, just increment it by delta time, so that I just want to see the ball moving and not being all disfigured, because I don't get why it is such a weird shape. So we're updating our spitball X and Y, so it should move down and to the right, starting at the very top left. Once we're in the attack state, we should see a ball of 2 radius just move from the top left down to the bottom right. What the heck? Look at that. That's why it's all jacked up. The delta time, well, yeah. It's because it's like interpolating the pixels if they're not at... That is so weird. Okay, so instead of delta time shifting, let's shift it by a whole integer. Instead of a 60th of a second, let's just do a whole number of 1. It should be a lot faster, but I'm hoping we see a solid ball instead of that weird interpolated jumble we see. Okay, it still looked a little deformed. Okay, well, that looked at least consistent, right? And at every time, that was just a whole spitball X position, like a whole integer. I don't know why it's doing this. Let's get our original location back. And what we'll do is we'll just floor it from our X position and Y. Okay. So we've got a spitball X, a spitball Y, which is a floored value from our entity. So let's just print up what the spitball position is so that we can at least ensure that it's floored. And then we'll worry about trying to fix this. Let's see. Okay, I think it's floored. Okay. Oh, well. It doesn't look jacked up now. Okay. Okay, so It does just need whole integer X and Y locations so it doesn't deform and interpolate the ball. Oh, see, that's an issue from the flooring. Because we floor it, and if it rounds up, it'll be just out of range, so then it re-pursues, and then it re-attacks, and then it re-pursues and re-attacks. So we do need to be smarter about the floor. And we can do this where we just... Would this work? I swear to God, this is what we tried at the very first time. Let's see. Okay, I mean, it seems... Oh, fuck. Okay, so maybe we always do a math dot seal, and then because it can't... I don't know if this would give us the same issue or not, but basically, like, when we floor it, when we round to the nearest pixel, if it rounds outside of our range, then it re-pursues and then it gets stuck in that loop. So I'm thinking if we round up, we only ever increase the distance. Well, that shit, I think that's backwards. Okay, well, this seems to be working. Okay, so let's see if the spitball, instead of 3, we give it 2, I think. I think that'll just be a square. I think a radius... No, because the diameter would be 4, so it should be slightly rounded. I think that'll be the right size for us. Yeah. So that's the size of the acid that he's going to spit at us. So let's try to get it right at the mouth of our bat. So let's say that we're just gonna modify this by maybe 8 pixels to get us closer to the center, and maybe 3 pixels to get us closer to the mouth. Let's see, we're looking for the spitball to be like right beneath the head. Okay, so like 2 pixels over to the right, and we should be good. And then we'll try to tween this value and have it actually spit at us. Okay, maybe another 2 pixels. Oh, Jimmy's crawling. This is weird. Oh, we got it stuck again. Shoot. Why? Dude, why? Why? Like, why would it be down there? Why would it be down there? Let's do this different, where we initialize to the entity's position. Let me just see if that looks consistent. Because it could be about the initialization that it's jacked up. It's just not... Whoa, it is not consistent at all. That is so jacked up. Okay. So let's not do this in the init. Let's really not do that in the init. I don't know why. But when we process AI, we're going to floor... Oh, well, this might be why we're getting... Well, let's do this. And then we'll take... We'll basically just copy the rounded position into the spitball position just for now, and then we'll see. Yo, sounds good, Squinch. I just want a consistent placement. Aye. Spitball X, spitball Y, entity X, entity Y. Math dot. We don't have spitball X defined, so we might need to just define it as 0, or is it... This is so fucking jacked. Okay. I think we always need to round down. We always need a math.floor no matter what, because we just keep getting stuck. So what we'll do is we'll just math.floor no matter what, because, well, let me think. It depends on what angle we're at. Because if the X gets floored when it's on the right side of us, it'll be closer to be in range, therefore not gonna get out of range. So it's almost like we need to I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. Okay, well, okay, I maybe what we do, we don't floor the entity position at all, and instead we floor, we can't even floor this. Maybe instead of flooring it, okay, this should be okay. We should be able to get away with math flooring the spitball position, because the spitball position doesn't affect whether or not the bat is going to pursue again. So we should be able to just floor this and get a consistent distance. If we can't get a consistent distance here, we have to rethink like how we're doing all this stuff. Okay, so it's just at the top left. It should always be at the top left, and we shouldn't get stuck in that perpetual attack pursue state, because we're actually not flooring the entity's X and Y position. Now I do notice, see how the spitball starts up at the top left for that very first frame and then it moves. So like maybe we could initialize this. Let's just try it. in here in the init, instead of saying 0, we just floor the entity X, and then we were having issues. Like, I don't get why sometimes it would inherit like an old state position. See, look, that's not the 0, 0 we were just seeing. And that's all random. Until it's resetting, and then it's... Oh. What the flip, man? Oy, oy, oy. Okay. So we'll keep that floor. Let's just initialize right off screen. I don't like doing this junk. We'll initialize off screen so we don't see it flash, but then when we render it to the floored position. Now we could, instead of updating the X position every frame, we could just, when we go to render the spitball, we render it at the floored position. Now we could... Let's just see what that does. We do need that to be an integer. Otherwise we get the weird shapes. So let's just see. We should have a consistent spitball position. I am not even seeing it. We render it. We need to update our position. We do. Just rendering it isn't good enough. Okay. Well, what if we don't render it at spitball X, we just render it at the entity's floored position? Because then we don't even need a... Well, this gets to when we need to add the tweening, we do need a specific variable for it. So I do think it'd be good to have it. Yeah. Okay, well, at least it's consistent. We do want to render it at the X, and I think that means that we still do... Yeah, in our process AI, we get that. Okay. So now... no, this isn't right, because we need to be able to tween. And if we're flooring based on the entity's X, it's going to get the wrong tween value. So I really thought... So, like, let's try to figure out why, if we put it in the init, it only works the first time. Like, if we define the initial position of our spitball based on our entity's position, why does it appear in one spot the very first time, like right here, it's like right over our wing, but then every subsequent one, it's top left? Like, is it even consistent there? That is so jacked up. Okay. I don't think I can trust the init for some reason. So if we were to go, let's try to do this where we go to where we change into a bat attack, and we assign the spitball position right before we go into a bat attack. So it's kind of like an init, but not actually using the init, because I don't know why that seems to be messing up. So that's like nowhere near the mouth of the bat, right? But it's looking consistent, at least. Kind of. Oh gosh. It looks worse. It looks really far off. Oh, like there. That was really... what the heck? Why is it so far off? I cannot believe that this is this difficult. You know what? I think it might have to do. Let's see if we go on direct orthogonals, if it is varying. Yeah. Okay, it's varying based on the entities. I call it. What do I call it? I call it. Displacement x. So we basically displace it before we render it and then undisplace it. So I think, gosh, this is so weird. But yeah, I think what we need to do in the bat walk state, yeah. I think we need to update our spitball here. And so like we update our X based on the displacement, then we update our spitball based on the floor displacement. But then we need to, I don't think we have to undo it, because by the time we fix our X, that we redisplace it and then we refloor it. So I think doing something like that should make it work. Well, I have no idea. But I do think it's the displacement that got it all out of whack there. We're just looking for consistent spacing on the white. So look, there it's like right outside the wing. It is looking more consistent now. Let's see this way. Okay. It is looking more consistent now. Okay. So now we can move it so that it's, see, and this is, I guess this is okay, because this is in the walk state. We don't need a, well, where did we just change it? We changed it in the walk state, where we're saying, okay, well, just make sure the spitball X is displaced, essentially, so that by the time we're in the attack state, we don't initialize it. All we do is render that spitball at its position. And then we just can tween that value to the player's X and Y position. So all we have to do, I think, is here, when we do this, we can floor it, and then we need to shift it to be essentially like where the bat's mouth is. So something like 12 on the X and 4 on the Y should get it close to the bat's mouth. Cool. So that's like, yeah, if it originates right there at the center of his mouth, then we just have to tween it to be equal to our value in the update function for the bat attack state. And if we were not in the attack state, maybe it just fades away. I don't exactly know, but we get to decide. So let's go to the attack state, and I want to put this tween. Let's see, tween. Where do we do it? Right here. So this is how we do it. In our bat attack state, we're going to tween a value from our entity, and the value we want to tween is our spitball X. And we want to set it equal to the player's X for right now, and then we want to tween the spitball Y of our entity to be equal to our player's Y over the course of 1 second. So when we're in the update, we should be changing that spitball X position over 1 second over to our player's position. So we should see the ball fly from the bat's mouth to the top left of our character. Oh my goodness. It's working. I mean, yeah, that's a little weird. We do need to reset. Well, okay. So we definitely need to get. I think we want. See, and this is really tough because we want the render order layer to appear on top of our player, which is easier said than done. I guess we'd have to just render our entities after our player, but I don't like doing that. Let us set our color for right now. Let's just set it to white. And then how would we let's take a look at our scene, I think, and see what our render order layer is like. We render what? Our current map, then we render our next map, then we render our player, then we render our top level tiles, then we render our spellcast entities. So if we could render our other entities here after our player, but before our top level tiles, right? Because we do this push and pop here for the graphics so that the player isn't getting displaced by the shifting that we've got here. But where... Oh, I think all our entities are in the current map. Okay. We could pop it, right? We could pop it or push it. Pop it. Push it. Shit, I think push. I think if we push it, I never remember what those do, but we're doing that here to kind of fix the render order. So maybe we can do that here in our bat attack state. We can just say, you know what, let's push and then pop. We've got to look up what those actually do. But let's just see if the spitball is in front of us now. And it should be white instead of red. Okay. It didn't render in front of us. Okay. Okay, let me look up what this Love.graphics push even does. The function is used to prepare for a corresponding pop operation later. Stores the default, moves the camera, return to the default. Okay. I don't know. I'm asking ChatGPT if they've got a way to render something on top of everything. Doesn't look like there's an easy thing to do. I guess what we have to do is... I don't know, this sucks because I guess what we do have to do is add... I think instead of adding just an entity spitball, I think we need to give a table to hold all of these things that are going to be rendering on top of everything. And then once we insert a spitball, essentially we update it over time, which will tween it. And also, I don't know. I feel like we need to do this different. So I think what I want to do... is give us a whole table for each map that can hold any sort of... what do we call it? Bullets or attack entities, attack sprites, attack entities. I don't know. I feel like attack entities maybe. So here, when we make all of our maps, let's give each of our maps gets a table called attacks. Okay, and then we would need certain types of attacks, I think. So this is sucky. But basically, if we insert, like, let's say this is a spitball, we table.insert a spitball into the attacks table. If there are any attacks in the attacks table, we update it and then also render it in the specific order, because now our attacks are we can kind of just render them. Crap, man. Okay, so we're gonna go. We got to create a new class called spitballs, or acid spit, or whatever we want to call it. Let's do it right here in our source, and we'll make a new spitball.lua, and we will do spitball gets class, and we will define some functions for it, like an init. Okay, so we've got a spitball class. We need to require it. Probably before the bats. I don't know. Okay. So the idea here is there's a spitball that gets initialized, and we can say it takes in an entity, so we know where to initialize it. And we get an X, and it gets the entity's X plus whatever that offset was, right? So it was like 4 and 12 or something to get it centered to the bat. Okay, and then in update we would put the tween, but then in the render we would just make sure that we love dot that color. Let's just do white. So let's do set color white, and then we do love.graphics.circle, and we give it a fill type, and we give it its own X and Y, as well as 4 radius, or 2 radius, which would be 4 diameter. So all the spitball is an X and a Y and a circle that we're rendering at the moment. So let's go back to our entity, or back to our state, our bat attack state. Now, instead of doing this, this is what we want in our spitball update. So we'll do that here, between here, and let's just do like 3 seconds, just so it's slower, so we can see things better. Okay, and then it's not, we can say entity gets the entity we pass in, so that we can tween a spitball to a specific, actually no, this would be self, and this would be self X, right? Can we not do that? Maybe? I feel like we can get away with this. I feel like we can do this. We just say Y and X like that. Passing in self as the key. I've never done that before, but maybe it works. So then what we need to do is, instead of this spitball X, we'll get rid of that. Instead of that spitball, what we do want to do is we want to do some sort of trigger, which for right now we'll put in the init, where we'll say we have the scene, well, we need the current map. So what we need to do is say table.insert, and we will insert a, it says list and then value. So the list we want to insert into is our global map at our scene view dot current map row. Scene view current map row. I think that's right. And then scene view current map column dot attacks. That's the table we want to insert into, and the value is a spitball class instantiation, and we give it the entity like that. Okay, so now we should have a spitball entity in the attacks field of the current map we're in. So now we need to update it over time, and we need to render it to the screen in the right render order. So when we go to render entities or something, like, where do we do it? Update entities. Really? Okay, well, in the scene, I think we gotta do something like, I want to say it's not in our scene. I want to say it's in our, oh, it might be in our scene. Well, we are rendering the current map. Okay, so it might, see, it needs to exist outside the map because it needs to be rendered after the player. It needs to be above the player, which is the whole thing we're doing this for. So we do have a self-current map. So maybe the, all we have to do here is say, let us, if the number of items in our map dot self current map dot row and self dot current map dot call, is it, or column? I forget. I think it's call in this one, which I should probably change. Let's see, current map. It is column. Okay. Okay. So I think we'll add column here. And we want to basically say if we have an item in here, then we want to go ahead and render. Yo, Scringe. Well, I added a spitball class so that we can add spitball objects into a table so that we can render those spitballs after the player so that it can come on top of our face instead of behind our head. So that's what we're working on. So if we have, it's not that this column 0, it's that if we have an attack in here, then we want to cycle through that attack for I, comma, yes, we would put this number for however many attacks we have. Go ahead and do, and the thing we want to do is render each one of these things. So we want to say attacks at index I would get rendered. We've done like 20 steps here without being able to test anything. And then we need to close this like a function. Okay, I've got little faith that spitball will render here. Oh my god, it worked. It worked. See how, like, oh, see the spitballs that get generated? Just stay there because they're in the dot attacks table, so that's actually working. But we need to floor that position because they get all jacked up at weird positions. So when we go to insert it, our spitball is inheriting the X and Y position of the entity. So we just need to always floor. Well, we can floor, yeah, let's floor it after we round to the nearest pixel. So we can say round to the nearest pixel and floor it. Oop. Okay. So now we should get the nice pretty circular spitballs, but they're not moving and they're just being spawned. Let's see. Yes, nice and circular. They're all over the place though. It should always come out of his mouth. And oh, we need the displacement. We need the displacement X. So we do need to we do this thing here where we say yeah, we need to essentially add the displacement X to our entity so that our spitball is getting that displacement value. It's just that I don't know if that gets flushed, because this would be in the walk state where it has this displacement, and we kind of undisplace it here in the render for that walk state. So I don't know how this will work, but let's try adding the displacement X. So we'll also add whatever displacement X we've got. Okay, let's try that. We're looking for a consistent placement of these spitballs. So right there in the center of his head, let's see. Okay. Yeah, and see how he's like wiggling up and down, but it's always going right to his mouth. That's looking right. So like that variance in Y position, even though, you know, it's looking like that wave there, that's the displacement X there at work. So I think this is right. Now we need to update our spitballs so that they tween to not us, but we want to do half of our player's width, which would be 8. And then 8, because we want the center, but that would just put the top left of us at the center, which means since we have a 4 pixel diameter, we need to shift it by 2. So we need a +6 and a +6, and that should be dead center for our player. So the tween values should take 3 seconds at the moment to render or to tween over to our player X. And then they'll still remain there because we're not removing them, but this is the first step here. So in our, would we do this in our scene where we're doing our spitball, our attacks render? So like render attacks, and we need to update the attacks. Jimmy keeps crawling up and falling like belly flop, so I keep looking over there at her because I keep hearing her falling. Okay, so when we update stuff like, where is this? Really? It's in the map. Okay, so let's do this. Do we update in the map? I think it's okay to update in the map. Entity updates. Okay, so let's do this where okay, we're gonna update every attack we have in our current map's attack table. So it could be no spitballs, it could be 10 spitballs or whatever. So we're gonna say let's set a local count to be equal to the number of entities in our map, and it in our map class. Where would this be? Self row column. Okay. So we can say here self row, self column, dot attacks. We set the count there, and then if count is greater than 0, if there is an attack to update, then we want to cycle through for I gets 1, count do, and we want to update each attack. So we'll go into our map at the right table, and we will go into our attacks table at the ith item and update it. with delta time. Now, our attacks, since there are only spitball objects in the attacks table, our spitball objects in the update function takes a tween, and it tweens the X position of the spitball itself to be the center of the player. Yo, hey, catch you later, Squinch. Thanks for hanging, dude. Yeah, peace out. Let's see if we get these spitballs moving. Yo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we clearly need to deinstantiate the spitballs once they've, like, reached their position, right? Oh, and speed them up. Like, we want 1 second instead of 3 seconds. So the bat's going to fly to us, and then he's going to spit at us. Nice. Oh! Landed right in our freaking forehead. Yeah, I feel like it might... Oh my gosh, see, yeah, we need to fix that so they don't just keep trying to track us. This is kind of fun, though, for like a boomerang. Oh god. It's gonna get crazy. It definitely looks like it only handles like 10 at a time. Oh, maybe they just get layered on top of each other. Okay. Okay, so we would need to deinstantiate the spitball once it stops moving. So I think there's a finish method we can run. No? I guess what we can do is say if the spitball... No, I don't know how to do it. I was going to say that we can say if the spitball's position is where the player's center of the head is, then go ahead and remove it, but then it wouldn't remove it if we're just walking around or multiple spitballs are coming at different when we're walking around. So we need to deinstantiate it upon a timer. So like if we give a spitball a tween of 1, which I think is too slow. I think it should be faster. Like you shouldn't be able to dodge this thing. You know, they won't spit it right away the instant they're in range, but once it does spit, it should hit you in the face. So I think even 0.2. Let's see what 0.2 looks like. Oh, that was freaky. Oh my gosh. But see, like if yeah, I don't think I even want you to be able to dodge it if you're walking. Yeah, I think it needs to be faster even, because if you walk right past it, I still want it to hit you. Like if he spits, it's gonna hit you. That's what I want. But he won't spit the instant he tracks you down. He'll hover in your range for a little bit. Oh my, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah, he spit at you. Okay, dude. Yes, yes, man. Yes, yes, yes. And then we'll set a limit so like you can't. You know, he can only spit once every 3 seconds or whatever. That's cool. And then we'll deinstantiate based on this 0.1. So what we'll do in our spitball update, we'll say we have a timer for like a lifespan. You know, lifespan gets 0.1, and then we do this tween, and we say we update our lifespan to be equal to our lifespan minus delta time, and then we want to say if our lifespan is smaller than 0, meaning our time has run out, then we need to say remove gets true, something like that, so that we can say we have a remove that is false upon instantiation. Then we update, and then once this remove is true, we need to remove it. So if we can go into our map, and as we cycle through and as we update them, we're gonna say, hey, is that very attack needing to be removed? So we're gonna say, is that attacks at index I dot remove? If it is dot remove, then we need to table dot remove. And this is the tricky part, because it takes in a list, right? So it takes in the list, and then it takes in a position, which is the hardest thing to remove. So it takes in this table, that's the first thing, and then it takes in a position. So it's like, which position of attack do we remove? Well, we remove the one that is updated, that has the dot remove true. So we can use the ith position as the index to remove from the attack table, and now they should remove. As they spit out, as they hit me, they should disappear. Nice. Yes. Sweet. Yes. Yeah. I think I want to give... map 203. What was that? 203. Oh, we're not checking. We can't update if count is more than a 0. If count is greater than 0. I don't know why that crashed. Because we're doing this here. Let's do if the number of attacks is greater than 0, then we have something to update. Let's see if we can recreate that crash here. Map 201 limit. Okay. This is pretty awesome. See, what the heck? 202, attempt to index a nil value. We didn't have an attack. So, let's do this where we say if it does not equal Well, what the heck? Because we're doing something similar for this where we say, like, if it does not equal nil. Oh, if the index 1 does not equal nil. That's how we do it. So we can say if... Yeah, this is sneaky. I mean, I don't know if the proper way to do this, but if you table.remove, but the table had things in it, then the table isn't nil, it's just empty. And if it tries to update an object that is in an empty table, it's crashing because there's nothing in there. So I think we have to say something like this, where we can say if the attacks at index 1 does not equal nil, then we want to go ahead and do this thing, cycle through all the attacks. But I don't know if that'll fix it though, because it took quite a while to do it. If let's see. Okay, maybe so. Maybe good. Okay, maybe so far so good. We haven't seen it crash in quite a while. Okay, yo, this is legit. The bat still flies away when we open that. Okay. Well, we do have a spitball class, which we're updating, and we kind of just instantiate and tween it to our player, and then we delete it. So let's I think we'll call that a night. It's almost midnight. Let's look at our git diff real quick before we leave, and we'll see that our map update now updates all of our attack objects, which right now are just spitball classes. So we also add a whole table for attacks for all of our maps. We also we render all of the attacks in that table. We require our spitball class that we made. We require we insert a spitball entity for every attack. Or any attack state, we go ahead and insert one spitball entity into the attack table. And then we, in our bat walk state, we take an entity spitball X. We can take this out. So let's go do this process AI in our walk state and take this out because we don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that spitball X because we have our own spitballs now, so nothing should break at the moment. Uh-oh. Why did he look so weird? He looked like doubled up for some reason. Okay, I think it's okay though. Oh no. If something like that crashes the game, like, that's just unforgivable. We crash right here at this update. See, so that's really weird, because if we don't have anything in the attacks 1, how do we fix that? Because it's saying that this is trying to index a nil thing, but we're saying only do this if it does not equal nil. So how do we even get to this line if it's nil? So, like, I'm thinking that maybe when we remove, I don't know what's happening there. don't know what's happening there. I mean, we shouldn't come into that issue because I think the issue happens when we spawn like a crap ton of these spitballs. But in reality, we're not able to make that many spitballs because they're going to be limited. Yeah, they're going to be limited. Shoot, man. I just wish I knew what was causing that, because we should have a spitball in that index. Because right here, it's not nil. So and the only thing we insert into it is a spitball entity. So I don't see why that would crash. But when we add the timing, you know, once the bat's in range of us, it starts this timer. Maybe 1 second, 2 seconds, it'll spitball. Wait 2 seconds, it'll spitball. So we shouldn't have an obscene amount of spitballs like we are kind of doing right now. So I think we might be okay with that. But let's add into our notes. Excuse me. Here we'll say add timer for spitballs. Yeah, timer for spitball spitting. Essentially. And then, yeah, we'll call it a night there. So we'll say added spitball class for bat enemies and global attacks table for maps. Cool. So we'll push it, call it a night. We'll run our credits. Sweet. Thanks to all of our accredited supporters. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the love and support on the YouTube and the Twitch over here. So I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get some more stuff done with the spitballs. We'll tidy it up, and then once we'll probably add the timing for the spitballs, and then we'll add the damage and knockback to our player, and then we'll add our player spellcast entity collision to our bats so that we can damage them back. And then we'll touch up the animation sprites for the bat, because right now it's just like placeholder programmer art, but we'll get better looking bats in there in the next couple days. So thanks for watching. We'll find someone to raid out to. Let's see. You know what? We'll raid Arya again and call it a night. All right. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Be back tomorrow.